Why do I love these wide open spaces? They remind me of why our forefathers came here, not just for its beauty, but for the freedom only America provides. I'm Kristi Noem.
I'm sorry, you're fired. Get out of here.
So high turnover was a pretty big feature of the first Trump administration, and we now have our first victim of the second administration, first high-profile victim, in the form of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. She's the person who's been overseeing all of the anti-migrant stuff, the deportations, all the activities of Border Patrol and ICE, which has obviously put her front and center in the administration's public messaging.
First of all, do not come to our country illegally. You will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But know that this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people.
It's interesting that she is being ejected from her job, not because of any of the ICE controversy, right? Not because of the death of 2 US citizens at the hands of immigration agents, not because she labeled the victims of those shootings domestic terrorists with no evidence in the immediate aftermath, none of that. It seems that she is being forced out by Donald Trump because of an advertising campaign that she spent a lot of taxpayer money on. So $220 million US on an ad campaign promoting the Department of Homeland Security, featuring her prominently. So she was dressed up as like a cowboy. She was in front of Mount Rushmore on a horse. A little bit farcical, but it cost a lot of taxpayer money. Donald Trump didn't mind about that until a congressional hearing this week. So Kristi Noem was in front of Congress. She was asked about this ad campaign, and she was asked specifically by a Republican senator, Joe Kennedy, he's normally a close ally of the White House, whether she had had Donald Trump's approval beforehand to run that ad campaign featuring herself so prominently.
We had conversations about making sure that we were telling people...
No, ma'am. I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt, but the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it correctly.
Did the president know you were going to do
OMB.
this?
Yes.
He did?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Right, so that's pretty unambiguous from Kristi Noem. She's saying Donald Trump did know before time that this ad campaign was running, that he did approve it. Donald Trump himself has subsequently told Reuters that he knew nothing about it beforehand. So there's an issue of potential perjury here, whether Kristi Noem lied to Congress. But more importantly, she has offended the president by claiming that he knew about this beforehand, when he says he did not. And that is ultimately, apparently, the straw that has broken the camel's back here. That is what has led to Kristi Noem being fired.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Well, those days are over. Thank you.
Now, Kristi Noem's tenure is not very long at the department. She's been there for a little bit over a year, something like 14 months. But it has certainly been eventful. It has been controversy-plagued, and you could also say scandal-plagued.
You asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism.
What, is she hiding her face like her ICE agents now? She can't show her face either? By the way, is this what the $800 billion went to? Every day we see her after there's some new tragedy in Homeland, she's wearing a different outfit with a different hat. I mean, come on, guys, she looks ridiculous.
Part of that is due to her handling of the migration stuff, her self-promotion, so her use of photo ops, that sort of thing, her profligate public spending. Something that also came up before Congress this week was her alleged affair, something that she denies, and the man involved here also denies, an alleged affair with one of her subordinates, her advisor Corey Lewandowski, who was Donald Trump's campaign manager for a time back in 2016. He's orbited around Trump since then. He's been ejected from Trump's orbit a couple of times due to misconduct. He's been brought back in. He's currently in the bringing back in phase. He has been a special government employee working for Kristi Noem, sort of as her top advisor informally, since she became Homeland Security Secretary. There are persistent rumors around the pair of them, due to all sorts of reasons that we don't need to get into here, that they are having an extramarital affair. Both are married. As I said, they deny it. But when it was brought up in Congress by one of the Democrats this week, Kristi Noem actually did not say directly that she was not having a sexual relationship with Lewandowski.
So what I would say
And
to
you should be able to
is
answer
that
the
what we do at the Department of Homeland Security
clearly
every single
and without
day,
any hesitation.
every single day is to protect
If
this
someone
country
is
and
asking
to make
if
decisions.
you or any federal official is sleeping with their subordinate, that should be the easiest. You should be wanting to answer that question.
As garbage,
because it is not about
it is
your sex
offensive
life.
that you have brought
It is
that up.
about your
No,
judgment.
that kind of garbage
It is
has
about
been refuted
reclaiming
for
my
years,
time so
and
that
you
I
need
can
to
hear myself.
recognize-
share.
Look, this is something that Donald Trump has reportedly been talking about behind the scenes in private to the people around him, and it's not a good look for one of the most senior cabinet secretaries in the United States to be having an alleged affair with one of her top staffers. Again, that does not seem to be the thing that has cost her her job in the end. It's just another factor. But this is very much straw camel's back territory. There's been this constant drumbeat of controversy surrounding Kristi Noem. And in the end, it has caught up with her.
Your inability to truthfully carry out your duties of Secretary of Homeland Security, if you're not fired, will you resign?
Sir, I will consider your asking me to resign as an endorsement of my work. Thank you very much.
Before the Kristi Noem news broke today, I was thinking randomly about the British government and Keir Starmer, who has landed himself in a lot of trouble with Donald Trump this week, the British Prime Minister, because he's not cooperated enough, in Trump's view, with the Iran operation, with helping the United States conduct its war in Iran. And I thought that was quite telling, and it sort of relates to the Noem stuff, because Keir Starmer is probably among the most obsequious of foreign leaders when it comes to dealing with Trump, or he has been for the last year since Trump became president again. There's an infamous scene, I think we can call it infamous now, where Starmer is sitting next to Trump in the Oval Office and he presents a letter from King Charles to the president. And it's inviting Trump to a second state visit. And there's no other president who's ever had 2 state visits. And Starmer goes out of his way to drill that home. It's like, this is very special, Donald. No one else has got this before.
He's a beautiful man, a wonderful man.
This is really special. This has never happened before. This is unprecedented. I think that just symbolises the strength of the relationship between us. So this is a very special letter. I think the last state visit was a tremendous success.
It was.
His Majesty the King wants to make this even better than that. So this is truly historic. What I haven't got yet is your answer. I do need to.
The answer is yes.
That's just a demonstration of the way that Starmer has approached Trump. He's been very, he's flattered him, effectively. But the moment he's made one decision that Donald Trump did not like, the moment he's somehow wound up on Trump's bad side, he's out. And he's bad. And Trump has decided, I don't like you, I'm going to go hell for leather against you. It's sort of a similar thing with Kristi Noem, right? She's done everything that Donald Trump wanted. She has made herself the face of the Trump administration's, one of the Trump administration's least popular initiatives, this anti-migrant stuff. It started off popular, but when Americans saw what it actually entailed, when it saw the actions of Border Patrol and ICE in their communities, it's now unfathomably unpopular. She has put herself front and center. She has owned it. She has done everything that Donald Trump asked of her, but in the end it doesn't matter, because one thing happened to set him against her. And so despite years of loyalty, years of sucking up, she is ejected, and now she's been given some nonsense job, which is clearly a demotion. And her response in her public statement is to thank the president, is to say thank you for this wonderful opportunity that you've given me. It's bizarre. It's bizarre how much Donald Trump sees loyalty as a one-way street. You have to be unfailingly loyal to him, you have to do everything he wants, and the moment you piss him off, there is no reciprocity, right? None. He can just cut you loose. And that's what happened to Kristi Noem, and it is a measure of how this administration operates that her response to that is to thank him for it.
Your American dream can be as big as these endless skies. From President Trump and me, welcome home.